If you are targeting fall or spring 2023 and you're a bachelor's, master's or PhD aspirant basically for the most part, this video is going to be extremely important for you because I'm going to be telling you exactly whether you should be taking the SAT, the GRE, GMAT, any other kind of test that is required for the most part or not. Alright, now if you may know, a lot of these universities previously that you may be targeting in the US, UK, Canada, they have been waiving off the GRE. In fact, Canada and UK, they don't really have it as a hard requirement. For the most part, I'm sure that most of you guys who are here are at least targeting a little bit of universities in the US, right? And then if you are targeting those universities, in the last 2-3 years, they have been giving out massive GRE GMAT waivers. Should you actually believe that those waivers will be continued this year? I'm going to be answering that question for you. But before we begin, I would like to show you exactly how many and what kind of amazing universities have been giving out these waivers. Hence, let's move on to YMGrad.com and let's take you to the decisions page, because you can actually right away see over here what kind of universities have basically given out admits to students who did not take the GRE or GMAT. And you can just turn on this filter without GRE GMAT and you can select the decision type as admit only. In that case, you would see what kind of universities have basically given out not only the admit but also funding to these students who applied even without these standardized test scores. Hence, it is very important that you understand what kind of universities have actually been giving out these waivers, and you can do your own research on this page right over here, and it is free for you. You can also use the phone application at YMGrad basically to actually access this list. Again, there's about 11,000 total admits and rejects over here, and I'm sure that this will help you understand that. And the second place where I would show you the verified ones now is if you go into the articles page and you select this, universities waiving the GRE GMAT due to COVID-19. Right over here, you would see the exact list of universities. Let me actually show you. See, in fact, universities like MIT, Stanford, UCLA, Princeton, Yale, all of these universities, CMU, UC Berkeley, have been waiving off these tests. So it really brings that doubt in your mind. Do you even need to take the GRE? First, please make sure that you understand that these universities are not waiving off the test for every single program out there. For instance, it may be waived for someone who is going for a degree in architecture, but it may not be waived for someone who is going for a degree in human resources. So it depends from basically program to program. I hope you understand that bit. Next, some of these were waiving it off in spring, some for fall, but these were basically for 2022 and we are yet to update this for 2023. So please do not reference this and understand that, okay, you will basically be applying to these universities. It's very important that you do not reference this right now if you're going for 2023, okay? And I want to make that clear. Now, here's what I personally recommend, and here's what I would personally recommend not only to the students who work directly with me, but to you guys as well, which I think it's a really important decision if you guys are watching this video right now. First, please understand that this is the first year after the COVID-19 pandemic. The masks have barely started coming off all across the world. Yes, we are vaccinated. Yes, things are going in the good directions at the moment. But at the same point of time, do you really think that this will sustain? That's a question that only the future will tell. However, the universities really started offering these GRE GMAT waivers first somewhere around 2020, when basically COVID started blooming so much that it was causing so much trouble around the world, and these centers had to shut down and people were not able to even conduct these tests. And then these test center people, they basically came, like ETS and GMAT, they came out with online version of their tests and everything, and you could take the test from your home and etc, etc. But those were really not very successful, let me tell you. So for the most part, now that these centers are working at almost full capacity and we are actually on the verge of removing those COVID-19 restrictions for the most part, at least for now we are. Well, in that case, I highly recommend that you take the GRE, GMAT, SAT, whatever you were going to take, simply because this is the first time after the COVID-19's effects are actually going a little bit down. It's basically cooling off a little bit. Now, we do not know if the universities will continue to offer these waivers, simply because up till now, most universities only offered it due to COVID-19. There are a very few universities that have said that, look, we won't take the GRE, GMAT or SAT, etc. We just don't need it at all regardless of this COVID-19. But this is actually not the case with every single university out there. Which brings me to my second point, which essentially tells you that look, if you don't like the word compromise, if you don't like to compromise in the exact university that you are applying to, and you basically have this intuition that, oh, I only want to apply to UCLA, or maybe my list should have UCLA, UC Berkeley, UC San Diego, and maybe NYU, and let's just say that two of these universities are not waiving the GRE this year. That's something that you are putting your future in the hands of basically the universities. Essentially, you should actually utilize the opportunity that you have. You take the test right now. If they don't want these scores later on, or if your score is not good enough later on, you skip submitting the score. But for now, they have not even released the official statement, most of the universities. So for the most part, my recommendation is take the test, because, and that brings me to my third point, because you have time right now. Even if you're going for spring or fall, regardless, you still have a couple of good number of months that you can actually use to take the test. And essentially, if someone is working with me, right, what I personally tell them, and I really like to tell them this, because it's really important that they understand, we are going to be taking care of every part of your process. So why do you need to actually worry about time? You actually have more time with us, right? So even if you're basically working with someone, or your drafts are ready, etc., etc., if basically your most of the process is taken care of, then you have more time. And essentially, if you're watching this early, if you're watching this right now in April, then also you have time. Hence, why not actually try your hand at the test? I'm not saying that you have to submit that score. I'm just saying prepare for a month, try it out. We have schedules on this channel that tells you exactly if you want 1 month, 2 month plan. We have actually both of those for depending on whichever test you're going for. We actually have the exact day by day plans. So you go by those plans, and essentially you can see your score boost, and it's all available for free on this YouTube channel itself. You don't really have to go ahead anywhere, including the resources, by the way. So go ahead, do that right now. So these are essentially my 3 pointers as to why I would like to take the test right now at this point of time if I were you. Again, there would be certainly universities that probably don't care about the GRE this year as well, because it has still been a trend for the most part, and I don't anticipate they will remove it completely. But not all the universities, or not so many top universities, will continue to offer the same scheme as last year. That is certainly a possibility, because things are changing and they're looking up, and I would like to look up basically as well. So my recommendation is to take the test. It's completely up to you if you do not. But again, that's really just what I would recommend if I were you, or if basically you're working with me. And I hope that this made a little bit of sense to you at least. If you're interested in more content like this, make sure to subscribe, and you can comment down below if you have any other questions. You can also reach me on my Instagram page just in case you would like to personally connect, and I would be really happy to connect. And I hope to see you in the next one. For now, goodbye and take care. Bye.